Hey, it's Rob Lightfoot, proud two-time alum of Rowan University.
And I'm Jessica Kennedy, also a two-time Rowan alum. And you're listening to
Beyond the Brown and Gold.
Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM presents Beyond the Brown and Gold, a show that highlights the lives and memories of Glassboro State and Rowan University alumni. Now, here are your hosts, Rob Lightfoot and Jessica Kennedy.
Rob and I are still glowing from today's episode of Beyond the Brown and Gold with Karl Jurman, little 77, 78. We had a little bit of a feeling about his class year and how it was, but he identifies with the class of 1977. Yes. And his wife, Mary D.R.C. Jurman, also class of 1977. Prof Sweethearts, first and foremost.
Prof Sweethearts, we got that story.
Love it.
And so people can kind of find out how that journey sort of played out for them. But I feel like students will also find out just the amazing journey that they both had with their career. And you're going to hear it in this episode where they just took off.
Really, honestly, super impressive. It's not a story that you hear a whole bunch. I mean, Mary is a voice performance major while she was here at Rowan. She was Miss GS. She was homecoming queen. She was a queen while she was here.
I wrote it down. Miss Linden Dorm.
Miss Linden Dorm. I mean, a beautiful career for both Karl and Mary on Broadway.
Traveling different countries.
Traveling the world together.
Separate.
I mean, just amazing. Mary played Christine in the Phantom of the Opera, and Karl was the music director for The Lion King, the Broadway show, which we all know and love. I mean, they've done so much more than that, but I feel like we have 16 pages. I know we have 16 pages of information on them, so we can't possibly give it to you all in the intro. You're just going to have to hear it from them, and you're going to fall in love with them just like we did. Coming all the way from Spring Lake today, which is my area. I grew up in those parts. I grew up in Monmouth County.
Oh, no kidding.
So I was familiar. And Rob, we used to work.
I used to work out that way.
Yes.
So I was in the Toms River area. So that we used to have a conference out that way at the Breakers Hotel. There's a free plug there for them. They want that, by the way.
Looking for sponsorships?
But the hard part was we would always do events there for my old job. And folks that attended, we would say, all right, you have the hour for lunch. Nobody would eat the lunch that we had because they would all want to go out on the beach because we'd all sit around and they would just want to hang and walk the
boardwalk. Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah, I love the
Can't
beach.
blame them.
Did you ever hear the Parker House in those days?
No.
In secret? Okay.
No.
Okay, so does it still exist? Should we go there?
Yeah,
Still
it still
1885.
Okay, good food?
Good lunch. Yeah, good lunch.
Okay.
I haven't had dinner there, but really good lunch.
Can you get it delivered to the beach?
No.
Okay. They both. It's like they've thought about it. I understand.
No.
So talk to us. Maybe actually Mary will want to start with you. Can you talk to us about how you made your way to Glassboro State, where you grew up in, and what drew you here?
Well, I'll tell you, it was. I grew up in Yardville, which is right outside of Trenton, and of course we said Trenton growing up. And I came to Glassboro because they had the new music building that had just been built, and it was very enticing to audition here. And a lot of faculty was coming from all over the country. They were really building up the whole department. So I actually didn't audition anywhere else. I kind of threw all my cards into one hat. Is that the right basket? Eggs in one basket. That's it.
Talk about eggs right now.
Cards, eggs in the basket.
Eggs are a sensitive subject
and auditioned,
these days.
And it was kind of an embarrassing audition.
Really?
Because I never had any formal music training. I always sang in choirs and did shows in school and that kind of thing. And but I never took piano lessons, and I never had voice lessons. And, we got this list of things that we were supposed to do, and it said an aria. So I went to my high school music teacher, and I said, I need an aria. I'm supposed to sing an aria. And he gave me this piece of music, which I learned, and I decided I needed to sound like an opera singer when I sang it, and found out later that it was an aria for a bass. That I happened to be singing an octave higher. It sounded beautiful.
And you're soprano,
in my
right?
soprano. Oh, yeah, I'm not a bass. So, if the faculty was like, okay, we'll overlook this misstep and just take her on her voice. Okay, she's fine. And then they also began, that year was the first year of the vocal performance major because prior to that, it was always just music education, and that's what I auditioned to do. And then they invited me to audition for the voice performance, and I was the only vocal student that was accepted on that degree.
Wow.
There was one pianist and one vocalist, and that was...
So with no experience.
But you came from a musical
Well, no.
background, right? You had a musical background in your family?
Well, you know, my family always sang. Like, my mother had a magnificent voice, and my father did too. And he
Were
kind of
they doing arias in a
No,
soprano?
big band, and you know,
Oh,
my
I
father
like
sounded
that.
like Bing Crosby. So I grew up listening to the American Songbook. You know, my dad's big band records, and I actually think I was born too late because I would have loved to have been a big band singer. You know, I want to be Doris Day. I want to be Joe Stafford. But and my mom just always sang around the house. We used to sing around the table. It sounds goofy, but you know, we did. And I just thought everyone could sing. I didn't know it was anything unusual.
You didn't
So-
know you had this talent.
Yeah, so when you wanted to go when you wanted to go into music, your parents were like, "Yeah, go ahead."
Yeah. Well, as for music education, they weren't as happy about switching to a performance degree. It was like, okay, you can do this, and then you'll go back and become a teacher. Okay, so you need something to
Quote,
fall
safe,
back
yeah.
on, the safety thing. But nope, never did.
Now, Karl, what brings you to Glassboro State
Well,
at the
our
time?
parents, it was all about music education, coming from a family of educators, and our parents not really understanding what we did. Back
Isn't
in
that all
those
parents
days.
don't understand really what you do, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. I went to, it was a state school in New Jersey that you could go to and become a teacher. And so down we went, Trenton State, Montclair State, right through the list. And then Glassboro came along. And that was the year of the new Wilson building. And the whole campus was stretching it. Remember, it started with Johnson Kosegin in
Yep.
67, that's whole thing. The
Yeah.
money is now here, 72. So everything's expanding. The faculty is expanding. The faculty members who were in the music department at Glassboro, their whole 50s and 60s were geared towards growing Glassboro State College. And now they've arrived in a $7 million building. The music majors went from 150 to 300 or 350 in 1 year.
Yeah, it's quite a jump.
And all the faculty that entailed. And so I remember coming down and auditioning, but my piano skills were not all classical. I was still doing some rock bands and regular Jersey
All right,
Shore
come on
bands
now,
and the whole
come
thing
on.
and rock and roll.
You on keys? Is that where you were on?
But
keys?
I could sing. And my choir director at the local church with the Juilliard, who knew?
Oh, wow.
Who knew? We were getting this major league education, I remember, even in high school, out singing all the sopranos and higher than the sopranos because my voice hadn't changed. So I'm like, you sing this part, and you sing that part, and you sing this part, and I'll sing the bottom part. And then I went, oh, I'm the only one who can do that.
Yeah.
And you found out there was a little wider world out there. Then my voice changed when I was 15, a little late, and I cried for a year. Tears for a year.
Very emotional time.
And the female sopranos sang higher than me. It was crushing. It was crushing. It was crushing.
15's late for that, right? A
Correct.
voice
It's
change?
like sophomore year of high school,
Yeah.
finally. A lot of music, rock and roll bands, but legitimate choir and legitimate singing in a lot of venues. We come to Glassboro, the expansion of the whole world. Dr. Flieger Hall. Dr. Flieger, I remember being in 301, which is a different number now, when that wasn't done. I auditioned in the bottom of Bunce. The music department was in the bottom of Bunce Hall. And so I auditioned there, and then they took us all on tours of the new music building. Ooh, it's coming next year. Oh, we're going to be freshmen. It was really great. And Dr. Flieger and the legends who had worked 20 years of their college career as professors here, finally getting their dreams. So it was wonderful. And that's how it all got going. And then Mary appeared the next year.
And the rest is history.
So yes.
Right.
So this is what I love. I love. We
is-
call
here
you.
we go.
Yeah. This is. I'll just take it from here, Rob.
Thank you. I'm going to sit in the corner over
I'll
here.
handle
like
the
a
ooey gooey
wallflower.
stuff. So we refer to couples that met here as Prof Sweethearts. So I want to know about your Prof Sweetheart story. How did you find each other? What drew you to one another?
Well, okay. So we're
You
gonna.
go
We
first.
kind of
No.
Yes, we have slightly different versions of
No,
it.
this
always
is what we
do.
want, yes.
So we sang in choir. well, actually, I wasn't in concert choir the first year, but I was in the small ensemble, which was the Madrigal Society, a very select choir group. And Karl was also in the Madrigal Society, and we kind of sat in rehearsals in a horseshoe. In a horseshoe shape. There were only 16 of us in this little ensemble. And I remember, I was young for college. I started at 17.
Okay.
And so, I'm like, I didn't date a lot in high school because I was younger than my classmates. And, and here I am, and there's that cute guy across the way, so I'll just wink.
You winked?
I winked at him.
Love it.
I winked. I did not know the power of my wink.
Yeah.
I thought I was being cute, and who knew? He took it seriously.
Carl.
It worked for me. Straight across. Mary,
Straight across.
Who's that pretty soprano?
Yeah.
Here we go. And then my side of the story is, as I was telling some of the students out in the hall, the Christmas party
Okay.
at a faculty member's house.
was
The whole ensemble gets invited.
Yes.
Off we go. Stunken living room. I think we went to Woodbury.
It was Woodbury, and it was a beautiful brand new home, and it's with a sunken living room. And at this point, by Christmas, I had turned 18.
Okay.
And I have
She's
to,
like, let me make it clear. I'm
because I
18
have to
years
make
old.
it clear
That
because
matters,
there
that
was
matters.
drinking involved, and at
Okay,
that point
okay.
in time,
Yep.
18 was the legal drinking age.
We are now cleared. Thank you very much.
So I had to make sure that was very
Legal
clear.
approved.
Legal and approved. So I'm sitting there having a good time, and Karl comes sauntering in with this tall glass of fizzy, clear stuff with a lime in it. And he said, "Have you ever had a gin and tonic?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Oh, try it. You'll really like it." Well, it was delicious.
All right.
Starts knocking him back.
Yeah, and had no idea how strong it was. And so he got me drunk on gin and tonic.
So as
He's
I was
like,
saying,
no.
Diane Stringfield, one of the upperclassmen, drove us home, obviously. Okay, you're in the back seat.
Yeah.
And then the arm comes around like we're at the movie.
Now we're getting Carl's moves.
And now
Oh,
we're getting the
boy.
moves
Got the
Now we're
moves.
getting
and
the
everything.
moves.
And then we dated for a while.
No.
Or was it just the Christmas
No,
holidays?
it was just no. You scared the crap out of me because you came on so strong.
Thank
She's
you.
just sharing this now. She's just
I'm sharing this now.
First time he's
And,
hearing it.
Newsflash.
But I have to say, we didn't date again for years, except we would go out once a year. This was kind of cool. He was seeing other people, and I had a boyfriend. It was
And this is
Rutgers.
I'm sorry. Is this pre-wink, post-wink? Where
This
are
is
we in the swing
post-wink.
game?
We are
Okay.
now
Oh.
sophomore,
Okay.
junior, so years later. But every year, Karl took me out on this really great date. But because we were good friends, and he took me to see the theater in Philadelphia.
Walnut Street Theater, right?
Walnut Street Theater. We saw Godspell, first national tour of Godspell, and we went to
we
see.
were in choirs together, so we're
well, in
seeing
choirs
each other
together.
a lot.
But these like special dates, I'm going to call it. We had these special dates. We went to see Ben Vereen at the. Was it Ben? Well, it doesn't matter.
You're welcome.
But so there was always something there. There was a spark, and then finally 4 years later, senior year for me, it was like, oh, this is a real thing. We're
So
really
senior
good
year for
friends.
you was junior year for you?
No,
or you were out
senior
already?
plus.
I
Senior
was
plus.
senior plus because I had to become a rock star.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course you
At
did.
the end of sophomore year, and like you have that crash and burn moment
Yeah.
in the middle of your career.
Fair
So
enough.
there was mine sophomore going into junior year where the faculty would come up and go, "What are we going to do with you?
Checking
What
in
are
on you.
going to do with you?"
Well, my tour dates are here.
Here
you know?
comes your classical training, and I became the first
Contemporary
piano major.
Oh.
So, what are we going to do with? And they stepped up and did the right thing. I always thank
They
them for
created
that.
a major for you.
They created a major for me.
So
Wow.
smart.
So I got 2 piano teachers, one jazz and one classical. And I switched. I think the first classical teacher was so frustrated with me. He traded me over to Steve Romanio.
Yeah.
And on my senior recital, I did half the program. Billy Joel, Manilow was big then, like he is now.
Love Manilow.
And background singers and the whole thing.
I was
First
one
half,
of them. I was a background singer.
First half was classical. Second half was contemporary. For my senior recital, how great was that?
That's so fun.
that Glassboro stepped up and did. So I'm always grateful for them to do that. Now time has passed,
Yeah.
so I wound up to finish just my recital. I was a spring 78. It says 78. I'm a spring 78, which means I finished in 77 is a 1 extra year.
You know, we could just change that in the database.
Oh, okay.
That's an easy fix. If you identify with 77, that's what we'll put on the record.
With 77. He wasn't 2 years late. He was just 1 year late.
And I didn't mind all that drinking at the Christmas party, Mary, because the beautiful thing was, when I was 18, the state law changed to 18.
Yeah.
When I was 21,
it went back to 21.
The other way. It segued perfectly for
Your
my
life
year.
has been blessed.
So it was just fabulous. So that was good. So there's our Christmas party story.
Yeah.
And senior year, so
love.
you're thinking senior year, this is super serious.
Well, yeah, we kind of, he called and I had just, I'm not sure if I even actually broke up with my boyfriend yet, but
love it.
who was at Rutgers, and my roommates said, "Hey, you'll never guess who called." And I said, Wayne, and they said, "No, Carl," and I went, "Oh, okay." I went, "Oh, all right," and we went out, and I remember the Crossings. That's where Carl lived. Was at the Crossings. I was at what still didn't have a name. It was so new Campus Apartments, which are now Carpenter Street Apartments.
Campus Apartments.
There was no name.
But it didn't have a name.
Yeah.
Where are they? The new Campus Apartments over there.
Where do you live? New Campus
new.
Apartments. And I was lucky enough to get a blue one, not a red one. So, so we were at the Crossings and just talked and listened to Nat King Cole. And I'm like, okay, this is like...
And did you like
this?
Which side of him did you like? Did you like the contemporary side? Rock? Did you like the rock side? Did you like the classical side?
Actually, the rock side.
Of course
There's something sexy about a rock and roll guy.
Of course that
is.
And how do we end up in theater? And now people are asking me in my retirement of where we're going to play next week.
Yeah.
I'm going,
Did I do this?
I'm not in a band. I'm not in a band. Well, you're supposed to be in a band. I had people just from Florida go the other day. Are you retired? I said, well, I'm kind of retired. Yeah. They go, I knew it, you know?
Because you got to be busy,
You're not
right?
all retired. Well, you never stop. I mean, you never stop with music.
It just never stops.
You retired from Lion King, but you don't retire from music.
Right.
We just...
I
guess we just drop dead in the middle of a song, and that's how it ends. You know? I'm not
no more
really
singing.
Sure.
We're retired.
Okay, we're retired.
So now let's talk about your paths, like, I guess, post GSC. Mm-hmm. So now we're graduating.
Yes.
We're both trying to do...
Wayne is out of the picture.
We're trying... Yeah, Wayne is
long gone. We were still friends.
Now?
But he wasn't my boyfriend either.
Whoa,
there's a third.
Let's pause on that journey. Let's go back to Wayne now.
No, we're going... No. But,
we're off to New York we go.
Off to New
York we go.
It was, for me, I thought I was going to go to graduate school because I still, in the back of my mind, thought I needed something to fall back on.
Okay.
So I thought I needed to get a master's, and I was... my parents, made no uncertain terms. We're not paying for graduate school. So I thought, okay, I'll see if I can get a scholarship. And I wanted to go to Indiana University or Juilliard. And the way to get a scholarship for me was through the Miss America program. And I was actually Miss GSC twice. Freshman year, when I was 17.
Where did you live, Mary?
I lived in Linden dorm.
Oh.
And and the Miss GSC pageant, or Miss GSC, was actually a preliminary pageant for the Miss New Jersey scholarship program. So I won a scholarship that, oh my God, this is rich, a $750 scholarship, and it paid for my second semester tuition.
Wowza.
Yes, I know. I was so proud. I could tell my dad.
Credit here now.
I know.
Get you.
Exactly, one book.
Yeah. Just to interrupt, I did a couple bands down in Wildwood a couple summers, and we come to August and go, oh, we've got to pay our tuition. And like the last 2 or 3 weeks of salary paid for like the whole year at Glassboro.
so wild.
We just like go, oh yeah, we forgot to save our money because we're spending it
And
in
then you still had
Wildwood,
time.
you know.
Yeah.
And it was like, boom.
So freshman year, it was a homecoming queen thing, and so I was Miss Linden dorm.
All right.
And then I did the pageant.
You must have been so proud.
17 and, won, and who knew? And then did not even make top 10 at Miss New Jersey, and, had a great experience, though. And then decided senior year, that was a good path, scholarships, way to go. And there was a mini pageant. It went from being this big school thing to nobody really had. It was the 70s, women's lib. All of a sudden, nobody wanted to sponsor or participate. I think there were like 5 of us in this in room 303 over at Wilson. And I won that one. And then won Miss New Jersey and was a runner-up to Miss America and took that scholarship money. And I said, you know what? I really don't want to go to school.
Really?
I swear, I want to perform. So I took my scholarship, and at that time it was legal to do that from Miss America. I don't think you can do that now. And I took my scholarship money of $6,000, which was like
that's like
winning
so much.
like
Now you're rich.
25,000,
Yeah.
50,000 now, whatever. Went to New York, and it paid for my lessons and classes, but I was also fortunate because I started working right away. So
But you could also get an agent through that too. Agents came to Miss America. It was a
I
much
did
different
get an
showbiz
agent,
world.
sort of, kind of, because I was introduced to my agent that I was with for many, many years, Harry Abrams, great, wonderful man. And he had a lot of clients that were former Miss America, so he was in tune with and respected that side of things. And he shared an office with some producers at the time who were doing a musical at Jones Beach Theater out in Long Island. And I auditioned for that. I auditioned for the lead, didn't get it, no worries. And then, but I was in the ensemble, and then they lost their lead. It was The Music Man was the show, and they lost their Marion, the librarian. And they said, can Mary audition again just for the experience? She needs to get more auditions under her belt. So I went in this time with a job. I had nothing to lose. I was not afraid, and I got the job.
Wow.
And then, just went on from there. So my first big gig in New York was the leading role at Jones Beach Theater. So it was pretty scary.
Yeah,
And,
that's pretty unusual to get something that quickly, right?
Yeah.
That was a good age. Obviously, you're
Wonderful
very talented,
agents,
but a
yeah.
great agent. And now
And then
all
I
the
did commercials for years, which was also paid the bills, which was great. So anyway, sorry, honey, I'm talking too much.
These are fabulous stories, though I know them all.
Now, Carl, you both went to New York together. It was
Together.
shared.
Everybody
You moved
starts.
in together.
I didn't move in together. I got my apartment. Carl was working in Weehawken. I never actually moved to New York.
Okay.
I moved to Weehawken again. This
And it
is
was
going to.
Bobby Byrne.
And Carl was with
I
Bobby
took
Byrne.
a cabaret gig. Anything to go to New York. I read about it in the newspaper at the shore.
Yep.
Looking for a pianist to go to New York. I go, that's me.
Oh,
That's
wow.
me. And I commuted to New York, and then we got that apartment in Weehawken. We studied with the teachers who we really wanted to study with. Like it was like getting a master's degree, but study instead of going
Study
to
privately.
college. Go to their studios
Right.
and study with
But
the
they were
biggies.
known. Like they were
They're
known in the
biggies.
industry.
They're all
Okay.
biggies. And even Manny Album, who was
Great
a
teachers.
big professor. And it was really great. It was really great. And so Bobby finishes, and then Mary gets...
Well, we got married in the meantime before we moved in.
Oh,
to get
yeah,
to this
that
You got
part.
apartment.
Oh, well, that's
Oh,
a big
yeah,
part of
that
that
part.
sweetheart
Oh, yeah, we
story,
got
right?
married.
Yeah, we actually got married. Yeah,
And then...
in 1979.
And then...
Ooh. And then-
Day in Hollywood.
Yes. Oh, so right
that's
after
how it started for me.
the year after, I had done The Music Man, auditioned for Tommy Toome for A Day in Hollywood, A Night in the Ukraine. Big hit on Broadway, not so much on the road, but it was a big hit on Broadway. And they were looking for, it was a 2-piano show. It didn't have a full orchestra, just 2 pianos. And
Sounds like somebody plays piano.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And they said, because they also were trying to hire husbands and wives so that people would be happier on the road and not be separated.
So the stage manager...
So stage manager.
Tom, I think his name was, from Broadway, finishes, and this is the first national tour. So his wife played, and then they had Paul Ford, who was became Stephen's, one of the big Stephen Sondheim guys, got a book out and everything now, played the other piano part. So then they decide not to go on the road. And Mary, at rehearsal one day, just slowly raises her hand and goes,
My husband plays the piano.
Oh, perfect.
So I auditioned. Next thing you know, we're at the
For
Playhouse
Wally Harper.
For Wally Harper,
The great.
the great Wally Harper, and a zillion shows. And we're at the Playhouse in Wilmington. I guess it's still there. Wilmington, Delaware was the
Wilmington?
first stop,
Yeah.
and then off to Baltimore. And we spent the whole year
Wilmington, Toronto, L.A., San Francisco.
All, and here you
It was
go.
great.
Somebody's going to pay you for this.
Yeah.
2 per diems, 2 salaries, and just had a wonderful time when
Oh, it
you're
was
that
great.
age.
Yeah, you
go
just
see the
travel
world.
and go see the world.
And you go see
Absolutely.
the world and they pay. It was just terrific.
You don't feel like you're working because you're not home. It's like you just
don't have
do
to
the
do
show
laundry, right?
and somehow you still have to do laundry.
Yeah.
But somehow it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like you're living your day-to-day life. You're in like this new place and it's beautiful. And
But did you have any reservation? I mean, you were a Jersey kid.
No.
And you're escaping and going out in the
no
world.
hesitation.
This is
love
exactly what you
traveling.
wanted.
Yeah.
Our
No,
theory
not a
was
problem.
when we went to New York, we had blinders or kind of like really focus going. When we go, don't look back. Remember, it's still, I tell people that even today, it's the business of no. So you're going to do the business of no.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to stop us. Everybody's tied till you're 30. Just go. Maybe you can glance over your shoulder when you're 28 and go, hey, how we doing? But you're not going to change anything until you're like at least 30. And then you'll be surprised how there's people from all over the country who go to New York City as actors and actresses.
Yes.
And when you live in Kansas City, you go to Manhattan and
Yes.
get an apartment in Manhattan. And if you live in Boise, Idaho, you go to Manhattan. Not many people from Boise go to Weehawken.
Right, yeah.
Maybe they do now, but not then.
And then they pay that exorbitant rent and,
Yeah.
and that whole thing.
And
And
they
we're right
realize-
across the river we're 2 stops away. We're there in 9 minutes. You know,
Right.
It's like great.
For a lot less money.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And so we wound up staying in Weehawken for 29
Wow.
years
Yeah.
because it was right there. Mary used to come home from shows. In between shows, you could get out of the Lincoln
Oh my
Tunnel in
gosh.
those days. You know?
When I was doing Sunday in the Park with George, I would come home for dinner. Like, who knew? I could take the bus home because the theater was like right by Port Authority. I would take the bus home. There wasn't as much traffic. I don't know why.
Correct.
And I would
Or
get back to
congestion
the
pricing.
theater. I'd leave, come home, eat dinner, kind of take a breath, and get back on the bus and go back into the city. And as long as I was there by 7:30,
You were good for the next
I was
show.
good for the next show. I mean, that show, I didn't have to dance, so it was just
Didn't matter what you ate for dinner.
It didn't matter. Well, you kind of had to be careful not to, but you don't want to burp on your fellow actor. But
And what were your family and friends thinking? Because you both had music education as kind of the fallback, right?
Our parents
he
still
did.
still don't know what we do.
Oh my God.
We cut 5 or 6 years. They still don't know.
no daughter of mine's going to be in show business.
That's right. And then I get
But then they couldn't be prouder.
Of
They
course.
couldn't.
what happens is that Mary becomes now she's in the paper. Now you're with your parents. They're hugging. They're screaming. You're getting roses. The whole thing. She does well. Goes on a USO tour. We're still getting ready to start our first show, and then we bought the neighbor's house. We took that money from that first year of Day in Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
Saved it
every
all.
penny.
Had
Saved
a big chunk of money, and went and bought our neighbor's house across the street.
the neighbor from where he grew up in Spring Lake.
Okay.
So now my father goes, I'm not sure what they do, but if they can buy the house across the street from me,
They're okay.
they're doing. I guess
okay.
they're doing okay.
Yes, they're doing all right.
Then the list of now we're getting going. I would do one show in town. I wanted to become a conductor too, so it was like you had to get a resume. So
What was your first show?
Day in Hollywood, probably.
first Broadway show, we did the 80s back
Okay.
and forth. I'd play in the pit. I got to know the contractors, and I would go out and conduct. Play in the pit, out and conduct. So that's how you get.
Seems
the
like a
40
lot.
shows.
Seems
I
overwhelming.
was doing
to do
7
all
shows
those.
at once. 7 shows at once.
Oh my gosh.
But you have to have a resume. What did you conduct? Well, you have to actually have conducted them.
Yeah.
So I built that resume. So in 1989, I got Into the Woods was my first Broadway conduct with Stephen Sondheim, and that was good. And then on to a few more.
What was it like for you all? I mean, so I'm
You're working with those legends, and you're hands on, and you're in the room, and it's
where it
very
happens.
exciting.
That's a Hamilton reference, in case you know. I know you're not Hamilton.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it right away. As soon as she makes one a show at least. So I've got to.
Alex,
I mean,
Alex.
But what is
you know?
but to Jess's point here, like you've got to be chasing that. You've got that high.
Mm-hmm.
You're chasing that next show. Like once you got that show, there's got to be that feeling, and then you're chasing the next one. Then you want that. Once you've had that taste.
But you have to remember, it's commercial theater. This isn't, roses and cream, and you get the show.
ooh,
and you,
tell us
and you
some
live
of the dirt. Tell us some of the Broadway
Well,
dirt.
it's like you learn about what work really is.
Yeah.
You learn about what the union really means.
Okay.
You've seen some strikes. I was on strike 3 times.
Yeah.
Over my career, out on the street, the whole thing.
Me too.
Talking people, solving things for a big company that I worked for, when they needed help, and on the road. There was all those issues on the road. So you really learn the nuts and bolts of commercial theater. And
So it's not like that
it's
feeling when you're a
show-
kid, right? And
Right.
you're like in a show, and it's that.
I
It's
still
show-
always had that feeling.
Did you? 'Cause
Always.
Does it ever feel
always,
like work?
always.
Oh, every.
I'll
I'll let Mary explain it. It's show business, though. Not that's.
Does it feel like work? Not in the same way as going to work in a job you don't love.
Okay.
I mean, there are times when you go, oh God, I just don't feel like doing this now.
Yeah.
Or I really would have to go back to bed. And you get up and you do your. but believe me, as soon as you get to the theater and the energy, and it sounds cliche and all of that, but it's true. And you get the energy from the audience, and you
like
just
a buzz.
it's a buzz. It's there, and
It's that gin and
there
tonic
is-
buzz.
It's that gin
Coming
and
back.
tonic
Look, I was in a
buzz.
cover band. I know what that's like. No,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
played in front of 6 people at one point.
That's exactly right.
But it was the same thing with me. But we still feel like that.
Yeah.
Like I just left Lion King just 1 year ago, and I'm going, who wouldn't want this job?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the bubble I lived in for a long time.
Yeah.
You're there. Everybody tells you how great you are
Every night.
every night.
Nothing like a standing ovation.
You get a
Make it
standing
all
ovation.
worthwhile.
You-
That's right.
You standing ovation. Everybody tells you how great you are. You take pictures with people. You sign autographs, and you go home every single day for 26 years.
So how do you stay grounded in a situation like, especially because you're both kind of experiencing that, right? So, like, do you ground each other? Do you
I
have to
think
pull
that
each
has
other
a
back
lot-
sometimes?
I don't think we ever had to pull each other back. I think we've always been grounded. I think we've always had a sense of what's important, and putting family first has always been important as over career. Many times for me, I did that, and I think it's we
And our
always
careers
supported one
Always
another.
supported one another. That
We
was
were
the key
never,
thing.
yeah. We
Sometimes Mary's career would leap ahead. She'd be doing something major. Then mine would leap ahead. Then
Right,
so it was
and
back and forth.
being-
But you always supported, never said no to the
living
other
in two
person.
different
I
countries.
was going to say, you guys
Yeah.
were separate for a while, right? Because you guys were on
Yeah.
different.
The famous phone bills. I took a job once. Mary went to the Soviet
I was
Union.
doing I toured the
Sophisticated
Soviet
ladies.
Union, and that was really hard because we couldn't communicate at all. It was when it was still the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Gorbachev was in power, and it was the beginning of Glasnost and Perestroika and blah blah blah. And we were in the Soviet Union for 2 months, and that was tough. That was
Yeah.
tough. I nearly starved to death.
Wow.
You know, because we were doing a show called Sophisticated Ladies, which is a dance show. And at the end of it, I said, this sounds silly. In my mind, I looked like a caricature of Mary Tyler Moore. It was just eyes and a big smile. And the rest of me was like a stick.
Because you've
I
been
was-
dancing so much?
I was so thin, and no food. We
Yeah.
had no food. They
Wow.
literally had no food. We had one meal a day that we could count on.
Oh my gosh, that's
And-
not enough to nourish you
no.
for the kind of work that you're
No,
doing,
no.
especially.
Black
yeah.
market. The whole
And there was
jeans,
the
show
black
your
market,
jeans,
but all they
cigarettes.
had on the black market was caviar, and I didn't like caviar.
I know, but I'm so tired of it. I am
I'm so
tired.
over the
So
caviar.
So Mary survives that, comes back to New York, and I wind up on that same job, going to Japan.
Oh, so
This
then
is
you left?
great.
So wait, you.
This is great. We're going to be in the same job we haven't been on for all these years, and then Mary.
And then I got Phantom and went to California instead. So he's in Japan.
By
I'm
myself.
in LA, and our phone bills were so high.
Can't imagine.
You know, because back then they had separate.
Per diems?
Long distance. No, separate long distance charges for
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
carriers.
And we would talk for like 2 hours sometimes, and he's in Japan. The phone bill was so high, the phone company called me at home to make sure it was all legit, that it
Wow.
wasn't, that this wasn't fake. And I'm like, oh no, that's
My
me. I'm
husband's
talking
there.
to Japan. That's my husband. And
we tried
They're
to
like,
crazy.
stop talking for 2 hours. Maybe wrap it up in 10.
Dad, can you wrap it up in like a lot faster? You're tying up the long distance lines.
Wow.
we never skimped on that. We always
no,
just
that-
always either went out and saw
That's
each
right.
other or spoke every day. So
Or
we
Toronto.
supported.
When I was working, I was doing Phantom in Toronto, and I had
was
it as
great.
part of my contract that I could fly home. I had a long weekend, because there are two Christines. There's the regular Christine that does 6 shows a week, and an alternate Christine who does 2 shows a week. So I lined it up with my schedule. I was able to. I did the Sunday matinee, then went to Toronto Island Airport, flew to Newark. And at that point, Karl
Was doing
was
Will
doing
Rogers'
Will Rogers
Follies
Follies
at
in
the-
New York.
right.
He would finish his 3:30 matinee, and somehow he picked me up in Newark at 5 o'clock. And as my flight was coming in, that we would drive down to Spring Lake. Then on Tuesday morning, he'd drive up, drop me off at
That's
the
love.
airport again.
That's a Prof Sweetheart
And we did
love.
that every other week.
9
Every
o'clock-
other week.
Yeah, 9 o'clock, you're just watching TV.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Next
great.
thing-
How was your matinee today? You know?
It's like so normal.
When you think about it, it's crazy, but that's what we did. You make a point of finding those times that I always found that as long as within 3 weeks, that you can talk to each other on the phone all you want, but you have to actually be able to hold hands. You have
Yeah.
to touch the person and
Feel
and
like they're real.
communicate. Yes, because otherwise you start becoming a single person in your mind. You got to stay connected, and that's and here we are 47 years later or whatever.
God bless.
Yeah.
Now, do these tunes that you guys were involved with, do they just play randomly in your head all the time? Or are they just like randomly in there all of a sudden you'll be like...
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. You just like pop in, you're like, oh, where'd that come from? Oh, just popped in there.
The Phantom.
Right? Yeah, like I was saying, the Phantom, the King.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, the songs from the shows.
Songs from
Yeah.
various shows, yeah, sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I think for me, yeah.
As when we go through our memorabilia, we
Yeah.
did a small little article at home. And they said, could you bring a few mementos out so we could see them? We went, you're kidding.
Yeah.
I've got
Like
life-size.
40 years of
I've got a life-size
Subway,
poster.
full-size Subway
That's
posters
cool.
of Mary
Come
and
on,
Fad.
that's cool.
We got like a billion things. So Mary put together a little thing, but it's difficult. We have so much. I've got 20 show jackets.
Yeah,
What do you
we
do with
both
that?
Hey, hold
Bring
on.
them out for the magazines.
Or
when
we're
they're out.
donating
Yeah.
them, or we're so we're still in the middle of like trying to weed through. It's
So-
all too much.
How do you make your way to The Lion King? Which is iconic show, iconic music.
Since it's showbiz, and you try to keep on top of the industry, Disney was starting. A friend of mine who we did Into the Woods, some things, Michael Cosrin, who's now Alan Menken's guy. They started with Hercules, with Disney, and then we realized they were new to Broadway. What year did Mickey Mouse start? 1927 or something? They've never done Broadway. So they were movie people.
Yeah.
So that was the beauty of that. So I said,
Of-
well, let's just jump on board with these newbies.
Yeah, Disney.
Disney, these
The
newbies.
no-namers.
They don't know what they're doing.
No.
They're going to need our help.
I love it.
And they hired us all.
Really?
And a couple of people from Mary. I remember going out to Lion King when we first started Minneapolis in 97. And Mary just was
Oh, the
finishing
stage
Phantom.
hands, yeah.
And all the stagehands went, oh, Mary's here. Like, I thought this was my job. You know? It's like,
But you had done Beauty and the Beast prior to that.
and so I did Beauty and the Beast. The first one was Beauty and the Beast. After Hercules, a concert by Alan Menken, because he's made them, $5 billion. So way back then, he got a concert, and then they started with Beauty and the Beast. And Michael Cosrin had to go around the world and open up the other companies. Kathy Summer, his assistant, they hired me as the kind of everyone. You're keyboard one, and you'll be in the orchestra because I'm gone setting up all these other companies. Then that got too much, so he rehired me as his associate supervisor around the world. So I'm like the first call pianist, the second conductor,
Oh, man.
the second associate around the world, and that's how corporate producers were. There were no corporate producers.
Macintosh, but
Well, no, that's still private. That's still
Yeah,
Cameron and those
that's
guys.
true. Well,
A
now it's a
corporation.
corporation.
Remember, we're, as we like to say, Tom Schumacher, who's still there. We're just a small mom and pop store amidst this gigantic umbrella, Disney. So that was the fun of you were always taken care of. Our fearless leader, Tom Schumacher, started in high school musicals just like we all did.
Right.
He's one of us.
Do you
He
feel
gets who
like
we
every-
are.
yeah? Does you feel like everybody kind of? I feel like there's that camaraderie among
Oh, yeah.
like theater.
there's
folk, like-
nothing. There's no people
There's
like show
no
people.
people.
That's not a cliche. It's
Right.
it's a family. It's a community.
I go,
It's
there's
a
only
community.
600 of us. You know? Right.
No,
All
but
these
you're
years,
together
it's
so
just
much,
600.
And you're
right?
doing different shows, right?
Right.
This
Oh, the
one's
years
on
go
this
by,
show.
600. That's it.
But it's and you do various shows and you know people in the other shows. I don't know so many people anymore, being old. but no, there's it was a great feeling of being in New York and a part of the theater community because you're surrounded by millions of people, but you feel like you know everybody.
Yeah.
In your world. It was great.
And then 26 years to do one show. I mean, that's a really long
I stayed.
time.
I stayed.
Yeah.
But I had many different roles in that 26 years, which is why I stayed. 5 years of this, 6 years of that. You get to work with 9-year-old kids and 7-year-old people.
Yeah.
How great is that? Is that the ultimate Glassboro teaching job?
It keeps
Yeah.
you young. It keeps you young.
No,
to
it's like
teach
you're
everybody.
teaching.
So I just say I'm doing everything I'm trained in. I was trained as a teacher, but that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching you the parts of the music. So we're just going and going. And then you learn the administration part and the showbiz part. And even though we're kind of hard and crusty now, we still get that feeling of wonderment that you were alluding back to.
Well, and that I would think, I don't want to I don't want to work. Oh, I'm so tired. And then you get the phone call, audition for, okay.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Right away.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
is it? L.A.? Sure, I'll go.
What is
Love
the
that.
interaction between the orchestra and the actors on the stage? Is there a lot of
was gonna say-
interaction
Well,
through?
mine's easier. I'm the conductor.
Yeah.
All those people down in the pit can't see those people on stage.
Yeah, which
all
is
those
wild.
people on stage can't
Only
see
see
them
you.
down the pit.
Well, yeah.
So I go, it's kind of godlike.
You have the full puppet
And you have to
strings,
put
right?
them all together. And I just go, there's no music comes out of the baton. The curtain, the lights go down, the curtain goes up. I pick up, I wave this little baton, and all this stuff happens.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And all this stuff happens. But they can't see each other, and they're coordinated. They're coordinated intimately with each other, the stage and the orchestra.
Through
And
you.
remember,
Through the
and that's what
conductor.
you're doing. You're connecting them together. And then you have the audience. Remember what real theater, when it works, it's a dialogue every day. How come you never get bored? Because every day is different, because it's that connection between the audience and the actors and what's happening in the performance on stage. So it never gets old.
So were you mentally, physically tired after these shows?
Yeah, well, remember, it's work.
That's
You're
what I'm
going to
saying,
work.
yeah.
But you're riding the high. You're riding the high. Well, I was with a great
But there's
show.
got to be stress that you want this thing to be
It can
to go
be-
well and
Yeah, of course. And it can also
150
be
You're waving
from
your
an
hand like
acting-
this?
Yeah, well,
acting
remember-
well, it's a different thing, I think.
I think it's 150 people. The orchestra's 26, but they'll have 5 subs. That's 150. Plus teach the whole cast, plus teach all the new people. Then you realize you're dealing with a lot of people for a long time.
And
You would just
subs?
crawl in a corner and cry at the end of the day.
oh, that's way too
Rob-
many people. I am
So-
an introvert at heart. It's way too many people.
Right. So now you see the ups and downs that could be there with people's lives. We were there so long. You saw people's families come and go. And you had to live that with them and hold their hand, people's hands through events, life events, you know. And that's why I got some lovely presents from them when we left, when I retired, because I remember this and I remember that. I was around so long. You remember life's events through the theater.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
could you tell when you start a show, like this is a good audience, this is a bad audience, we got a lot of work to do? Could you feel
Well,
that energy?
Here's the thing. You can't judge an audience by its energy. When I was doing Singing in the Rain,
yeah.
Peter Slutzker, who played Cosmo, the Donald O'Connor part, every night would go, "They hate me. They hate me." He would do Make 'Em Laugh, and he'd come up, "They hate me." And the thing is, sometimes some audiences, there's a psychology to the audience. It's a group psychology, however you want. Sometimes there's an energy that's outspoken, and sometimes it's quiet, and sometimes they are loving it and just absorbing.
Yeah.
And so as an actor, you want to say, "They're not responding. They didn't laugh that loud."
And you don't want to be the only person to laugh,
And
right?
then
So-
at the end but then they go crazy at the end of the night. And other times they're like hysterical and laughing or applauding like crazy through the whole show. And so you can never judge. You never know what the audience
Act 2 of Sunday in the Park.
act. Oh my God. No. Okay. So I did the original cast of Sunday in the Park with George, and you were talking earlier about how cool it is, in the room with Stephen Sondheim, bringing music in for the first time, and we're, hearing it all for the first time. And we opened on Broadway before the second act was complete.
okay.
There was a
doesn't sound stressful at all.
script. Oh yeah. Brent Spiner was in the show. I don't know if you know him from Star Trek. He's Data, whatever, but he was in the show, and we would go. He would say, "Oh my God! Well, don't worry, everyone. Pretty soon we're just going to be a poster on Joe Allen's wall. Joe Allen's restaurant only has posters of shows that flopped.
Bomb. Only the flaps all over.
So,
Oh no.
so the misery will be over soon. But I mean, we loved what we were doing, but that second act for weeks, because Steve hadn't finished writing the music. And, at one point, James Lapine had written a monologue for Mandy Patinkin, George, at the beginning of the show. And I still remember this line, off and running. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And so that night, the night of the monologue, the curtain rose, and there's the cast. I don't know if you know the story. It's a story of George Seurat. It's a manufactured story based on his painting The Island of La Grande Jatte. And so the first act closes with the painting coming to life and freezing. curtain comes down. Curtain rises at the second act. And there's a opening number, which is actually brilliant, where we're perfectly still, and we sing this song called It's Hot Up Here. So we've had this monologue, curtain rises, it's hot up here, it's hot and it's monotonous. It sure is. From the audience, we got heckled.
No.
We were heckled.
Oh my God.
It was that night was torture. But then, in the genius of Sondheim, once all the songs were in place for the second act, James would write these scenes to give him a framework, and all of a sudden everything came together, and the show was absolute magic. Won the Pulitzer Prize, and we were not a poster on Joe
Listen,
Allen's
the
wall.
nerve of somebody screaming from the
Can
audience.
you imagine?
Definitely couldn't.
Incredible.
That's like my husband screaming at the TV at
I know,
sports, and he's
I know.
like,
And
"These
this is
guys," I'm like,
Broadway.
Let's see you do this.
Right.
It's
Let's
hot and it's
see you.
monotonous. It sure is.
Oh,
It
boy.
was.
Ours was a lot easier. The Lion King. We had Tom Schumacher and Peter Schneider as our producers, and something would go wrong, and just like the community theater, stuff breaks and something falls, and so they got to bring the curtain in, and then Tom would come out and go, "Well, folks," somebody would just saunter out, and go, "It's time for a pause. Do you know what a pause is?" And we thought we invented the pause. And then I started playing him on and playing him
smart.
off in the piano. And so it was just da 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 da.
Yeah.
Because all the tunes weren't fit,
Yeah.
So it was great. So we thought The Lion King in Minneapolis in 1997, we invented the pause.
I love it. Now, oh my gosh, we have so much. We could talk for hours, but we have a schedule to
Yeah.
maintain. Three people.
I'm sorry.
No, I want to come with you for the rest of the day. But so talk to us. We're semi-retired now because who knows? Somebody might call us
the
back
phone's
to work.
ringing, man.
Right.
We're picking it up, right?
Picking it up.
So we're in Spring Lake full time now in
Yes.
that original house that you bought in those first few years.
Yep.
And what's that like? Are we just resting and going to the beach? What are we doing?
I wish I had time to go to the beach.
Retired people never have time.
That's
people.
right.
Yes.
Well, I can't. Since I don't know, I didn't know I retired. I just kind of retired by attrition, I think, but because work there's just not as much work.
Yeah.
So, but I can't tell you how many people. This is my own little pet peeve that'll come
Okay.
up to you when you're retired. So, what do you do all day?
Yeah.
And I usually say, whatever I want.
Yeah.
By the way, what do you do all day?
Nothing that I want.
You kind of want to say, well, none of your business.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you the third degree. But it doesn't matter. There's never enough time.
Yeah. No.
The more time you have, there's never enough time. There's always something that has to get done. And
I've just been trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
Life after
I'm still
The Lion
trying to
King.
figure it out too.
Right.
Is there like a letdown a little bit after?
Oh, totally. I
Yeah.
just arbitrarily left.
Yeah.
Arbitrarily left. Okay.
Hey,
it's
what made
time-
that choice?
It was time. You want to still have a life after and travel and all the things that people talk about.
Yeah.
I could go do that show tomorrow in a heartbeat.
Right.
Because
It's in your bones at this point.
And who wouldn't want to get signed autographs?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do
every
you
single
walk
day?
away from that?
How do you
That's
walk away?
just-
It's the greatest job like ever. What a bubble. But now
The
to have
commute.
the commute, your health. Let's start thinking about it, your health. Let's go to England and see that new show.
Oh, I love
I was saying the shows I hadn't seen because I've been working.
Yeah, sure.
I'm the one
Yeah.
who's actually working. It was 13 shows I have to catch up on.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shows.
Do you have a favorite show, either of you, that's currently on Broadway right now?
Well, we just saw
Hell's
Hell's
Kitchen.
Kitchen was
Fabulous.
fabulous.
Any thoughts about going back to that music education background and teaching either on a local
Well, I was
or
trying to figure out. People ask me all the
Yeah.
time. I've been invited in 2 big bands already and 3 choirs and something else. And I'm going, do you want to work with kids? So
Yeah.
maybe it will be educational.
All right.
You never
Yeah.
know. So we'll just let it go organically because we're only 1 year out. So it's
Yeah,
kinda-
take your time. You've been working hard, right?
you know, I want to go to Europe
Chill
and
out
see
for a
those
little
13
bit.
shows. And,
Yeah.
and so we'll figure it out.
Jess, I want to hang out with them all the time.
And
they got plenty of time now.
I know. Well, she said they don't have that much time.
Okay, well, neither do I, but I would love to hang out with them. It's so much fun.
I just feel like when I'm with theater folks. There's something about being with them that makes me feel like I'm with my people. Like, I just miss that so much. It's just such a feeling.
And how do you leave all of that? All that
don't know.
adoration, all of that like fanfare?
I don't think I could. I think I would just have like the world's biggest ego.
I know. Well, you and I have trouble getting out of the spotlight now. I mean, it's always been a struggle for us. We're not ready to walk away.
No,
yet,
absolutely not. But honestly, such down to earth folks, like just humble with all that they've experienced. I can't wait to see, what they make of their retirement, because I have a feeling that they're just not going to just chill out.
Yeah.
They're going to do big things.
And I wanted to ask them how we didn't do it, but I wanted to see how they navigated New York City, because it's so claustrophobic for me.
I know. That's what they mean. I don't think they had that.
They didn't have that issue.
They were ready to go.
Yeah.
Some people are just made for New York.
It's not me.
Not me either. But I think it takes a strong person, an independent person that goes out there and, they conquered it. They didn't just go. They've conquered New York theater, now Spring Lake.
But I also do like where Karl had mentioned, hey, you're always going to you can look back later and kind of see where you are in life, and just kind of said, you can look over your shoulder, see where you are. So it was a great story.
You've been listening to Beyond the Brown and Gold on Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM. You can find more episodes on your favorite podcasting platforms by searching for Beyond the Brown and Gold or Rowan Radio On Demand.